So guys, there's been a huge uptick in the sales of Xbox hardware since the launch of Starfield. We saw over an 1,000% increase in Xbox Series X and S sales on Amazon right after the game's launch. And last week, there was apparently a 75% increase in Xbox hardware sales over in the UK following Starfield's release. But what do you care about Microsoft's profits? How many Xboxes are being sold? You probably have an Xbox already. That's why you clicked on this video. You clicked on this video to see some cool accessories, and I'm going to talk about a few in this video. Some of them I didn't even know existed until a couple of days ago that I feel like can really elevate the Xbox experience. So a couple of weeks ago, 8BitDo reached out to me and was like, hey, we want to partner up with your channel in order to facilitate like a giveaway for our Ultimate Wired Xbox controllers. And that giveaway, sorry guys, it's no longer active right now. I have all the entries in and we're going to be shipping out the controller soon. But because they were like, I guess, a fan of what we were doing on the channel, they decided to send me this thing, the 8BitDo Xbox joystick. It's a really cool blend of what I enjoyed about old school gaming, and it's compatible with the modern day Xboxes, my Series X, my Series S, and my PC. What really stood out to me when I first unboxed this thing is that the build quality is really impressive. I have a couple of other 8BitDo controllers, and they're a little on the lighter side. They feel a little hollow, feel great, but this thing in comparison, it's very solid, pretty beefy. It feels great in your hands. It has a good weight to it. So obviously it has the joystick on the left and then all of the faceplate buttons on the right. The YBXA buttons are kind of in their own grouping, all like sort of to the left-ish where like all these buttons are. And then it has the right bumper, left bumper on the top right, and then the right trigger, left trigger below that. Using their app, you can remap buttons, and you can also set certain loadouts, and that's how you cycle through them if you don't want to use the app on the controller itself. And then lastly, if you are insane enough to try this game with like a shooter or something like that, you can change how the stick responds depending on what function you want it to take on. Like, oh, I want it to mimic the left stick for movement, or I want to mimic the right stick for looking around. I don't know. I don't know who would be using it for that. That's like, I feel an impossible dream, but it's there. What's really cool about this is that it can be used wirelessly or wired. So I game at a desk, so usually wired controllers are no big deal for me. I just prop it up on my desk and then I plug it in, and it eliminates a little bit of latency, so that's pretty cool. But if you're gaming on a couch, if you're gaming on like a nice recliner, I don't know, you have a nice gaming chair that you cherish, all you got to do is plug in the 8BitDo dongle, and then you'll be able to use this wirelessly. You can use it in your lap, you can use it leaning back, you can use it, I don't know, laying down, and it's like on your chest and you're kind of like doing some crazy stuff. Now, obviously, with this arcade stick, probably not going to have the best time trying to play a game like, I don't know, Starfield or Call of Duty with it. I don't even know if you can. I tried to play Elden Ring with this thing and I couldn't get past the title screen. Where this really shines is with old school beat 'em ups, side scroller adventures, platformers. I played Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge with this. And did it make me better at the game? Not really. There's a little bit of a learning curve, like kind of when you're used to playing with controller and you're transitioning to mouse and keyboard. But did it make it more fun? Absolutely. And logically, I can't explain to you why it was more fun because it's the same game. I played through it a bunch of times, played through it with friends, but for some reason, using this arcade stick with it, it elevated the experience and made it more fun. It brought me back. It transported me to a time when I would play in arcades. Specifically, when I used to go to Cece's Pizza, it was like the highlight of my freaking month whenever we'd go. And I would play like the Simpsons games. I would play like the old Gauntlet. And I thought it was perfect timing getting this arcade stick because Mortal Kombat 1 just came out, the new Mortal Kombat. So I was like, okay, I gotta try this arcade stick with the new Mortal Kombat, see how it goes. Now, again, did it make me better at Mortal Kombat? Absolutely not. But I could definitely see how I could get really, really good at Mortal Kombat using a stick versus a controller. I think this is a great accessory to have as an Xbox gamer, especially if you have Game Pass, because there's a ton of games on Game Pass that would go really well with this controller. I mentioned TMNT Shredder's Revenge earlier. There's a ton of platformers on the service as well, like Ori and the Will of the Wisps. In many ways, this fills a need in my accessories closet that not every controller can. It's funny because, like, you would think I would come on here and recommend you, like, oh, you got to get, like, the super expensive Elite Series 2 controller, or, the Scuff Instinct Pro or something like that. That's really going to elevate your experience. But this arcade stick, even though it's a little bit on the pricey side, it's $120, it fills a need that other controllers simply cannot, especially if you are really into fighting games. So if you can spring for it, I think it's worth it. I heartily recommend this. I do also recommend, I mentioned it earlier, the Ultimate Wired Xbox controller from Xbox, from 8BitDo as well, or 8BitDo. People always get mad at me because they're like, it's 8BitDo, like Nintendo, but I hear different things. I don't know. I go back and forth on it. But I do really like this controller, and it's not even $40. It's $35 on Amazon. Sometimes I see it go all the way down to $25. So especially for the price, this is a fantastic controller. And it's got 2 buttons on the back, so there's a ton of possibilities, a ton of mix and match. There's only 2, so not as much as like an Elite Series controller, but it's still pretty flexible, I would say. But perhaps controllers do not interest you for whatever reason. You're like, Ray, I'm good on controllers. I don't need it. Move on. You just got the Xbox, so you're like, I think I'm good with the controllers I got. Maybe you have some leftover ones from the Xbox One generation. They're still compatible. I get it. Maybe you want to make your Xbox, dress it up a little bit. Make it a little more fly. Pimp it out a little bit. Not pimp it out. Xbox is working on these right now. They're called the Series X console wraps. And for all my Series S owners out there, I'm very sorry, but they don't have a version for the Series S as far as I know. These are just for the Xbox Series X. And when Xbox first announced this, a lot of people were like, what? This is just a sticker that I put on my Xbox. What's the big deal? But, my dear viewer, it is not a sticker. It's like more like an iPad kind of wrap. You kind of go, you have the front here, and then it Velcros in the back. So all you gotta do is just make sure that it aligns with the power button, and then snap it in the back. Kind of dust it down a little bit because I got my grubby fingers all over it. And then you're good to go. You see, it fits perfectly on the front plate of your Xbox. It's got room for the power button, room for your disk drive, room for your USB port in the front, as well as your sync button right here as well. So it's designed very, very well. This is the Starfield wrap specifically, and I think this is really clean. I think the white looks really cool. A couple of months back, there was a tease of a white Series X that showed up in this one random commercial, and I thought that was really cool. Oh my gosh, a white Series X. There is no white Series X, but I can kind of have one with this console wrap. This is a really cool nod too. If you flip it over, it has a Starfield logo, and then it has kind of like the topographical like space map situation that you kind of see in the game as well. Overall, very, very cool. This is the wrap that Xbox sent me first, but it's one of 3 wraps that they plan on coming out with in November. Lots of cool stuff that they packed into it. Whoever designed this, very thoughtful, or whatever team designed this. You can tell they put a lot of effort, put a lot of love into making this thing. Moving on to the other console wraps, they're both just camo console wraps, or what they're called. And same thing, boom, stick it on the front, put it on the Xbox, and you should be good to go. There are, I don't use them, but there are like little kind of, what do you call them? Like you bend them in order to secure to the bottom of your Xbox. I don't really use that. I don't know if that's against protocol or if people are going to come after me in the comments for it, but I just do the Velcro and I call it a day. Actually, I'm going to put on the blue for you guys to look at. And give me a sec. Bam. So I'm going to put the blue on to reference. It's like, I don't know. Like, this is pretty cool, I guess. It's not my aesthetic. It's not what I usually go for, I guess. This is going to sound insane, but it's kind of giving me Nickelodeon, like, Blob vibes. I know it sounds stupid because Nickelodeon's orange, this is blue. But even if you're not a fan of camo, you're not a fan of Starfield, I think this represents a really exciting opportunity for Xbox. If they did a Starfield one, why not make a Halo one, a Master Chief one? Why not make a Fable one for when that comes out? Why not make a Gears one when the next Gears drops? And it's obviously way kinder to your wallet buying like a Starfield wrap to put on your Xbox versus buying a special edition console, which we all know just they sell out, they get scalped, all sorts of crazy stuff happens. So I feel like this is a great alternative. It's a good move on Xbox's part. There has been a lot of debate about the price of these things. They're available for pre-order right now. They're going to be coming out November 10th, so they're not out right now, but they're $45. Now, I don't really think that's terrible, especially because I have it in my hands right now. The quality is pretty solid. And it's nice to have this, a console wrap that is not an adhesive. It's not a sticker. Because I know there's a lot of cool stickers out there for your Xbox, but, you know, as time goes on and you want to take them off, you want to swap them out, they get like all stuck to the console and they kind of like ruin it with the adhesive. Next up, I wanted to talk about an accessory that I thought was really cool. It's probably going to be pretty hard to get your hands on one because they're limited drops through Elgato. But I think this thing is so cool. Bethesda sent this to me for the launch of Starfield. They sent me like a little creator kit that had this jacket and a new mouse, a wireless mouse, and also this as well, a Stream Deck, not to be confused with a Steam Deck. So this gives you a couple of shortcuts that you can use when you're streaming, and it's very, very helpful. When I stream, for example, I have a couple of different things set up. I have like a countdown before I start. I have like a let's chat kind of scene where it's like me on the camera and then like this cool little background. And then I also have, you know, we transition into like the gaming scene where it's me playing the game and my webcam and all the different chat boxes set up. Beforehand, I had to do all of that on Streamlabs through the software that I was streaming. I'd have to go click off of it, go into the thing and change it myself. With a Stream Deck, I could shortcut all of those scenes to a little button and I just say, hey, I want to transition into the let's chat scene that I have set up. And then I go boop and it changes for me. Even if you're not a streamer, I've seen some people use this for non-gaming stuff like Photoshop presets and all sorts of other stuff. And what's really cool about this particular Stream Deck is that it is like a special edition Constellation Starfield one. And best of all, it goes with my Xbox Series X that has that cool Starfield skin. Hold on, I'm going to set it up for you. And it's going to be really cool. Just watch. Bam. Bam. And if you want to be a complete freaking savage, like a complete fanboy, as a reminder, they also have Xbox fridges. This is like the silliest thing that I own by far. An Xbox mini fridge. It is like, you know, proportionally, like I want to say like 2-to-1 ratio of like a Series X. It's like almost like an exact replica, just like kind of like scaled up. They even have like a USB port in the front that is functional, so you can have this plugged in and then plug in. I don't even know. I have no idea. And then, you know, there's not a ton of space in the middle of it or like in this actual fridge. And to be completely honest, guys, it's not the best mini fridge that you're going to own. It just kind of keeps like already cool things cool, if that makes sense. It's not going to like do anything crazy for you. But for a while, this was like a very controversial accessory when it launched because it was only available at Target and people were scalping the absolute crap out of it. So people were like, when are we getting more stock of the Xbox fridge? This is the original one, but they also sell a smaller one as well, a mini fridge of the Xbox Series X. So that's a little bit cheaper. This one runs around like almost $100. That'll be like 70, 80-ish if I remember correctly. And then if this is not your style, an Xbox fridge is not your style, they also have a Minecraft mini fridge. And the mini fridge that they sent me, it was actually for the celebration of Minecraft Legends. And at the time, they were like, hey, you want this fridge when I was at the event? And I was like, hell yeah, I want that fridge. I don't know why I said yes. When I see free stuff, I'm like, yes, I'm in. But when I got it at my house, I was like, dude, what am I gonna do with this thing? It was simultaneously awesome and simultaneously like, I don't have the space for this. What am I doing? But the Minecraft mini fridge is actually pretty funny because it's like, again, it's a faithful recreation of a creeper and it's actually really good build quality. It's like, okay, they put out the Xbox mini fridge and they were like, okay, What lessons did we learn from that? And let's just add a ton of cool stuff to this Minecraft creeper fridge. I'm not even like a big fan of Minecraft. I'm not even like a Minecraft guy, but even I'm like, that's pretty cool, man. That's pretty cool. Also, keep an eye out on some new accessories coming from Xbox. Last video I talked about it. There was a massive leak of Xbox's plans up until 2030. And one of them was a new Xbox wireless controller. So keep an eye out on any announcements regarding that. The official Xbox podcast is going to be up today, actually, when this video goes up. So maybe they'll have something to say about it. Maybe they won't. So yeah, expect even more accessories and more hardware from Xbox. Probably not by the end of this year, but definitely in 2024. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for joining me for this accessory roundup. We'll see you in the next video. We got a weekend edition coming with Jimmy Champagne to talk all the crazy stuff going on in the world of Xbox. We'll see you then.